Well, there's a black bear cub right outside the barn door. Good morning. It is a nice, windy, beautiful spring morning. I don't know if you can hear that wind whipping, but we need to get inside. It's about 30 degrees out, but there's no snow on the ground, so that is a good morning. Curious to see if all the mud dried overnight. We left the dehumidifier on. If you guys are just tuning into the channel, me and my wife Gina are working on building our own off-grid house up here in the woods. And we just got done sheetrocking and putting the first coat of mud in the bathroom. It's gonna be interesting to see if it's all dry. It's looking good. Let me shut this off. It looks like it's all dry. I am surprised. Usually you have spots, lots of spots that don't dry overnight. I lied. Looks like that right there, just from like here to there, is still wet. And then maybe a small spot on that bottom corner. Everywhere else is dry. So that means we can continue on with the mudding process. Right now this is a stage it's kind of like, hurry up, get it done, and wait. Hurry up and get it done and wait. Because you gotta keep getting your coats on, but you gotta let it dry. Hopefully it's all dry, and then you can keep going back and getting another coat on, and then you can sand it. So, it's looking good. Oh, you know what we haven't done? We need to cut out for the medicine cabinet, and I have not cut out for the lights. I better do that before we forget again. Let me get my mudding shirt on, and then we can get to work. I don't know about you guys, but when I am mudding and painting, I get pretty dirty. I'm very messy at it, I should say. So let me get my shirt on. Whoa, that's better. I try to always remember to wear my mudding clothes and my painting clothes because I just ruin everything. See? So, if I look like I'm wearing the same clothes, I am.
So the bathroom looks great. We got our first coat on, and then we're gonna go ahead and do another coat. So then after that, it'll be some touch up and then sanding. So then primer and paint, and I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna do a different color in here. Still light, but maybe not. I'm thinking about it. So it's not a window, but that's where the medicine cabinet is gonna go. That will be above the sink. So the sink is gonna go, I think, to about here, the vanity. And then there'll be the medicine cabinet, but the sink part is over here. And then there's the sink part is over here, and then the counter part. So that's why I'll put the medicine cabinet right there, which I think it's gonna be really different for us. But I think it makes sense what he said. Like if you're brushing your teeth over the sink, you want to be in front of the mirror.
We have these 6-inch LED slim puck lights for recessing in the ceiling. I just want to make sure we cut the right size hole. So it says for a hole size, you need 6.3 inches. That's your template. I found that, I'm sure other people other than Milwaukee makes one, but I found Milwaukee makes this adjustable cutter. And I just want to put it on.
Can it tell you the measurement?
Yeah, so right here on the side, I don't know if you can see it that good. It has numbers on it, and you line it up right in there. So we want to go 6.5 because it doesn't have a 6.3. So that'd be a 6. Let's actually do in the middle. Let's see what that looks like. It's too small.
And that drill bit works really, really good, except for if your wife puts it away and you can't find it. So I spent a little bit of time to figure out where I put it. We did find it.
We did. It took us a few minutes, but we found it.
I have a piece of strapping right here. If I centered my lights, I would hit on that strapping. So I'm gonna move this one over so I won't hit the strapping. I want to see what that does for my measurements. Because we were 24, and 24 would be 48, so 25 and 25, so if I go 26 and 26, so if I move that one over to 26, that'll have a good even spacing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I am. Yuck. There are your lights. 2, 4, 5, 6.
Did you put one in there?
Oh, it's 7. There's one in the closet.
So we had decided that we would just go ahead and put the bathroom in first before going ahead and doing everything else, because it'd be nice to have a bathroom with a running toilet and also a sink. I think we'll put that in. And we can always close this room off too, so it can just keep most of the dust and everything out, and it should just be easy cleanup. So we are going to get everything done. The toilet, are you going to put the vanity in? Probably put the vanity
Yeah,
in.
do the vanity, the toilet. We won't do the shower yet.
Right.
We can do that after.
We'll work on the shower bits and pieces.
Right.
And we have the time to do that.
In between coats, we're not going to sand. We're just going to go around with our putty knife and just scrape off any high spots. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put a second coat on.
Fun begins.
Let the fun begin is right. Actually, there should be a lot less mud going on today than yesterday. So nice and smooth looking. Looks like a nice sour cream.
Do you want to lick it? Don't
Put
do
it on
that.
some tacos?
Don't do that.
I'll put it on some tacos?
It doesn't look like sour cream to me. It looks more like a frosting.
No.
You're so messy.
It is.
You.
I'm gonna give it to you, the job, and we'll see how messy you are. And then you can tell me how messy I am.
You're almost done.
We got the corners.
Oh.
I got all the corners up high, and then these two back corners. Feel the dampness in the air just from the moisture in the mud. So having that dehumidifier on after we leave makes a huge difference. Forget how much time it takes to put on the second coat. You always think the coat before is the one that takes the longest. I think my least favorite part about this job is you can't rush it. Takes a long time to dry, and for me anyways, I gotta take my time putting it on so I don't make a mess. I'm sure the pros can do it a lot faster, but I by no means am a pro. One of the things I tried doing different this time versus the upstairs is I kept everything a lot wider, meaning where my joints are and then my corners. Trying to feather it out, so that way I'm thinking when we go to sand, there'll be less to sand because we're just feathering this. And it'll give it a nicer look. That's my thinking, we're gonna find out. I never had used a power sander for sanding drywall until doing the upstairs, and it is a big difference sanding with one of those versus hand sanding. Dust wise, there's like virtually no dust. I'm hoping we can come back in the morning, which will be in the same video, so not very long for you guys. Get in here and get everything sanded. I'm gonna get the dehumidifier hooked up and hopefully drying all of this. Well, there's a black bear cub right outside the barn door. Hey, bear! What are you doing? What the heck? Well, that was kind of weird. I opened up the door to let the goats in for the night, and that black bear cub was right there. Crazy. It is the next morning. We need to get up to the off-grid house and see if the sheetrock mud is dry. Because my goal today is to get the bathroom all sanded. And then we can move on and start getting it primed and painted and getting the whole thing set up so the girls can have a working vanity, sink, whatever you want to call it, and a toilet. It'll be good, nice to have a working bathroom. I think it's kind of feel like something we can check off the list. Let's see how everything looks. The dehumidifier is running, so that's a bonus. Temperature is 65 degrees in and 43% humidity. So that's all looking good. The inverters are running, so that means they're already making power. I love this time of the year when the sun is out we start making power early. 42% humidity. Oops, blinded you. That is all looking good. Right up there. I'll have to check that out. And then down low. Right there, still a little soft. And then also right here was a little damp. And it looks like that spot right there is still a little damp. This is one of my love-hate relationship parts about mudding. I don't have the patience, I don't like waiting. I like to be able to do one step and then get on to the next one. I really want to sand in here today, but I know it's for the best if I let it sit for another day. It is nice out. The lower part of the driveway has not been fixed up yet. We got some more stone brought in and Gina's car can get over it, but it's not nice and smooth. The dump trucks spread it as it goes, but when they're doing that, they don't get it perfectly smooth. So we'll have to take the TYM out today. And then that way, that'll keep me out of the bathroom, keep me out of trouble there. We'll let that dry for another day, and then we can sand it. Because I know what's gonna happen is that I'll sand it now, I'll mess up the corners, I'll mess up some spots, and it's gonna just cost me more time and work in the long run. I am not good with being patient. I like to bowl and jam and get stuff done and get it checked off the list. That's my personality, I know it. So now that I know it, I can kind of tweak it and let myself know it's okay to wait. I'm not like being lazy or anything like that. It's one of the things I have a problem with. So trying to come to terms with that. So I'm gonna stop on that and we'll get in the tractor. So one of the things I found with building a homestead from scratch is there's a lot of prioritizing you have to do. There's always something that needs to be done, and sometimes one takes more priority over another. So like we're trying to work on the inside of the house, get the house done so we can move up here and live up here. But in the meantime, trees have fallen down on the road, so we gotta get those picked up. The road needs grading because it's an old road. It was put back in like I think 40 years ago, and it was a logging road that was put in. So it was never had a base put down, it's all just clay. So last year we brought some material in and did the best we could with it. This year we brought even more material in, but this is just the base layer. We're gonna be doing more logging next winter. So we don't wanna have this road finished, because if we have it finished come next spring, when the frost is coming out of the ground, or if the log trucks are still here towards when the ground's starting to break up, it's gonna rut it up again. And I just want a good base layer so we can fix it back up. And then next year we can put the final coat on. So there's a lot of prioritizing going that way, like what project has to be done when and how quickly. So there's been a lot of jockeying around and that stuff kind of go, but we also have things that we don't want to give up, that we're not willing to give up. Like we started living this lifestyle for health and for food. So back at the other homestead, we still have our goats, we have our chickens, we have baby chicks in right now for new egg layers. We have meat birds coming in. We have our piglets back at the homestead for growing food. And we're gonna be getting some gardens going up here soon. So we're trying to jockey and juggle around a lot, but there's things we don't want to give up. Like we got into this lifestyle for health and for food. So we still need to make sure that we're growing our own food, so that way we feel good. I don't talk about it much, but if I don't eat good quality foods, I notice it. So especially when Gina got sick and she was in the hospital, we weren't able to eat what we normally eat for food. Not a lot, but a little bit. And then a few days after that, I noticed it. I can notice it in my ears. My ears start ringing. I can notice it in my gut. I can notice it in my attitude. The thing that really affects me the most is cooking oils. It sounds kind of weird, but it does. I don't talk about it a lot because I don't want to make a thing about it, but I also like to talk about it too because if you're out there and you have problems, a lot of it can be caused by food. I used to be a real anxious person. Like my anxiety, sorry, my arm's getting tired. My anxiety was through the roof. Right after me and Gina got married, I quit smoking. Long story short, I should have been locked up in an insane asylum. I was that anxious. I couldn't go to work, but I did go to work. I made myself go to work. I won't get into all the details, but it was a real long time. And I started learning about anxiety and depression, and I got myself through it, but I still was just able to cope. I wasn't able to really live my life and thrive. It wasn't until I learned about food and what food and diet can do to your mental being that it really changed me. It didn't happen overnight. It took a while. I was a junk food junkie, so trying to switch my diet completely wasn't easy. But now we've been living this lifestyle for such a long time and we've been eating really good. I can see a huge difference. We were just talking to some of our friends about it the other day and like telling them about like where we came from and stuff. And we forget some of the stuff and some of the stuff that's happened. And yeah, like I didn't even like to go driving 20 minutes down the street. I was that nervous and I'd get that anxious. I'd have to pull over, I'd puke. It was deliberating. I don't know what the word is, but when I had my anxiety bad, I couldn't even drive 2 towns over because I would get that anxious about it. I don't know what it was, but it was all related to food. So that being said, that's how we got on the sidetrack. That being said, we're building this property, but we also need to maintain our other property and be able to raise our own food so we can eat good quality food all the time. That is a huge priority to us. Like right now, we're not milking our goats. So luckily we found a raw A2 dairy farm in the area. So we're able to get raw cow's milk, and we are going to be growing our own meat birds and our own pigs. We're going to be doing a garden here. I don't know how much of planting in the greenhouse we're going to do this year, because the reason for that is we're hoping to sell that property this year, if all goes well, and move over here. And if we plant in that greenhouse, we're hoping that during harvest time is when we'll be moving up here. So we don't want to plant in that greenhouse, spend all of our time and energy growing food just to move and not be able to reap the benefits from the greenhouse. So we're going to be doing garden beds up here, if that makes sense. So if we're still there for some reason this winter or fall, we'll do a fall garden in the greenhouse because we won't be moving in the wintertime. In our climate, you don't want to move in the wintertime. So it's just a big waiting game to see how everything's going to work out. Sorry that was long-winded, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys like a little synopsis of what's going on and what it takes to do what we're doing. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody from building a homestead or a house from raw land. Just know that there's certain things that it's going to take a little bit while longer, and there's things you're going to have to juggle. I love doing it. Gina loves doing it. So if you want to do it, but just know what you're getting into. All right, I think we are good to go now. All right, let's get this road fixed up. there, we have all of that. Oh, I can hear. Smoothed out and graded the best we're gonna get it. Once we get a few rainstorms, you're a little dusty. Once we get a few rainstorms, I think it'll tell us a little bit more, but it feels good to have it smooth. Gina's car will be able to go back and forth a lot better. Looks so good. This area right here is one of my, I think our favorite spots on the property. This used to be old hay fields that I'd love to get back up into hay fields. It's one of the goals, is to get this area back into hay fields. Maybe not even hay fields, but just pasture. We could have sheep and cow down here and just clean it up. Just rotate on and off, or mow it for pasture, or mow it for hay. But I think that'll be a while. I think the first thing we would do is get this brush cut down, and then we could get like sheep down here, keep them in the area for a day or two, and then move them along. All right, let's get up above. I believe Gina is working on some raised bed gardens. Let's go see how that's coming.
Did you see the garlic? It's doing really, really good. I am so surprised. There was one, so I was excited. I saw one little one, a couple months ago. I lose track of time, but I saw a little one and I was so excited, and now there's so many. House is over there, and then we have a water hydrant off of our well over there, and I really wanted to do a garden around this rock, but it's quite a far ways from the hydrant, so I'm going to do in between, get a long hose, so I'm going to put a garden up here.
So far, I'm really impressed with how these go together. Once they're all screwed up, they seem really rugged and secure. I think they're going to be a good product.
Yeah. One, two, cattle panel, and a space. 1, 2, a cattle panel, and then some solar lights at the top.
Nice.
So it's not my idea, but I seen it, and that's what made me really want these.